What is up, guys? Welcome to Diving Garage, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about something that trips up a lot of people when they're rebuilding engines, and it's just removing the valve springs. Whether it's on the vehicle, that can be a challenge in itself. Even on the bench, it can sometimes be tough. So I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. One works on the vehicle, one works on the bench, so that way you can keep moving on with your build. Let's dive in. All right, so these are the heads we're going to be using for this short block right here. And I was just beginning the process of getting them stripped down so I get them cleaned up, do some work to them, and get them installed. And when I was doing that, something I think that's very common happened. The little retainer the keeper got stuck in the retainer, and that can trip a lot of people up. But it's a very common issue, happens a lot of the times. So I thought I'd bring you along and show you different ways to deal with that. Now, the first method I'm going to show you here is the on vehicle, and you can even do this on the bench too, method, to where it's this guy right here. I'll put a link to this tool in the description below. This is made by Lyle, and this is a valve spring remover and installer tool. So it's 2-in-1. So this top section here comes off, and this is what you're going to need to remove the valve spring. So it's super easy. All you do is you put this over it like that. As you can see, it's magnetic as well. And you just get a nice heavy hammer and you smack that thing. That's really all there is to it. What happens is when you hit it, you're pushing the valve spring down, and then where the valve stays up, we'll get to that in a second, and the keepers pop out, and it's also magnetic inside there, and this thing catches them. Pretty easy, right? There's one tip I'm gonna give you to make this a little easier. All right, so get yourself some sort of cloth, rag, whatever you got, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick this in that combustion chamber, so that way the valve stays up. There we go. So like that. There we go. I just want something so that way the valve isn't going down and hitting the table, hitting the bench, or I don't know, whatever you're working on. And we'll talk about how to do this in the vehicle in a minute. And then that's pretty much it. So you grab this right here, stick it on there. And then of course, when you're working with the valve springs, I would treat it like a gun. Like, this thing could very easily shoot off in a direction you don't want. So keep eyes and ears and all that stuff safe, and let's hit it. Wow. Okay, so in this method, the same kind of thing happened. And you can see in there, we have one keeper, right? So that's fine. Let's get that out. There we go, got that guy right there. And so now with the other one, we're gonna do the same deal. There we go, just like that. So now we got the retainer, we got the keeper in there. If I can do like that, and then we got the spring. So it's really that easy. I like this tool a lot, and this was the way I did it for a long time. A long time. I did it just like this with this tool right here. All right, so now let's talk about how to use this tool with the engine in the vehicle, and maybe you say you just got one cylinder head off. So you can do this. It's pretty straightforward. So what you do is you go get yourself a pneumatic fitting, like for an air compressor, get the male fitting, and conveniently that thread is the same exact thread as a spark plug. So if you get that threaded in there, don't force it, it should go nice and easy. Get it in there, and you get your air hose, set it out like 40-50 PSI from your compressor, and put the engine at top dead center, or best you can find. And then put the air on, and then what that's gonna do is that pressure in there is gonna keep the valve up. Now this is gonna use a lot of air, so if you have a smaller compressor, you're gonna need to do it kind of quick. If you have a bigger one, it'll just keep running and keep filling that compression or that combustion chamber full of air, keeping the valve up. So then with that air pushing the valve up, and you can use this tool here, and you can get it out. I don't know if you need to swap a spring, maybe you got a broken spring, or whatever your issue is that you need to do, you can make that repair and then do the same thing and get it installed just using air. So a little trick for you. And now let's move on to method number 2, where we're on the bench. All right, so I got the head set up on some stands. I figured it'd be a little bit easier to show you, and because we're gonna be using this tool right here. So this is a traditional valve spring installer remover tool. It's pretty simple. It has 2 different styles for different size retainers, and it has a T-handle over here that this is where we're gonna actually be working kind of the whole time. So let me ring in here and show you how it works. All right, so we're gonna be working on this one right here, right next to the one we just did. And the first thing you wanna do, like I said, is get the bigger style installed in the working area. Get that backed almost all the way out, and then also get your T-handle with the valve, I guess, compressor side also backed out. So we're gonna get this here, get it lined up, and then we're gonna go on the bottom. I'll show you in a second. Let's get this here. You're gonna get this kind of in place first. That adjust it a little bit. Like that, there we go. There, just like that. So, you see how the spring did compress just a little bit. That's all we're really going for. We're not using the handle to do the compression. We're gonna be using the wheel on the bottom. All right, so now that we got some tension on it, what we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna back out just a little bit so that way I can make sure that the top section is totally covering the retainer and lined up nice and straight. That's what we're going for here. There we go, it's a little straighter. And so now we're gonna use this T-handle to actually compress the spring. Same as earlier, guys. Point this, make sure you're safe. Keep your eyes safe. No engine is worth your eyesight. We're just gonna kind of wind this down. I'll bring you around and show you the top in just a second until the keepers are nice and loose. Some ding dong put this in the worst position ever. It was me. Okay, so that's a pretty good view. Now, what you can do, you can either use a little magnet like this, or you can use some needle nose pliers, whatever you got, and we're just gonna grab those keepers out. See what you can grab. There's one. Sometimes they get a little stuck. You might have to go a little bit farther to get both of them out. Just kind of depends on how either old and crusty your engine is like this one, or maybe not so old and crusty. But again, make sure you're keeping your eyes and head, all that safe. Not that one. Almost got it. Got it. It's like an operation. Okay, so now what you don't want to do now, do not try and lift that handle up to release this. We're gonna go back down to the bottom and just loosen it up, and then we'll get that out. Just gonna loosen the T-handle on the bottom, and that valve's gonna, or the spring, then come right out, no issue. All right, once you feel there's no more tension, then lift up the blue handle. Oh, sorry, I knocked you. There you go. Turn her out, spring out. Looks like we got a shim in there, all right. Man, I'm a little nervous that these valves are toast. I didn't plan on replacing them. Maybe they're just dirty. Huh. It really shouldn't have been that hard. Huh. All right. Anyway, that's one done. All right, guys, so those are the two ways you can use to get valve springs off of your cylinder head, whether they be on the vehicle, on the bench. Two different ways you can get it done. I hope you got some tips along the way. And if you're like me and you're doing a whole rebuild, you just got to do it 15 more times. No big deal. We got plenty more planned for this build. The next thing I'm going to be doing is doing a little bit of work here so that way these heads can take Viton seals instead of the umbrella type. So let me know if you're ready for that down in the comments below. And if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get out there and dive in your next project. Catch you next time.